Gunsmoke brought the rough streets of Dodge City into American homes and became one of the longest-running westerns in television history. For 20 years, its unforgettable characters made viewers feel part of the frontier. But after 71 years, time has taken many beloved faces, while a few rare stars may still remain. Today, we look back at the Gunsmoke cast, then and now. James Arness was born in 1923 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He was 32 when he played Matt Dillon. Towering, quiet, and steady as a fence post in a storm, Arness gave Dodge City a marshal who felt calm before the gunfight, not after it. He did not push for attention. The badge, the stare, and that long walk did the talking. Before Gunsmoke made him a TV landmark, Arness had already shown up in films like The Thing from Another World and Hondo, carrying that same large, silent strength. For 20 seasons, Matt Dillon became the role viewers trusted week after week. Arness died in 2011 at age 88 from natural causes. Matt Dillon was the kind of lawman classic Western fans believed in. Fair, patient, and dangerous only when pushed too far. Arness played him with a quiet moral weight. Like every choice in Dodge City mattered. That is why, after all these years, his marshal still feels like the backbone of Gunsmoke. Milburn Stone was born in 1904 in Burton, Kansas. He was 51 when he played Doc Adams. Cranky, sharp, and warm underneath all the fussing, Stone made the town doctor feel like a man who had seen every bullet wound, bad decision, and stubborn cowboy Dodge City could throw at him. Long before Doc became his signature role, Stone had worked through years of films, serials, westerns, and character parts, building the kind of old-school craft you can feel without it being announced. Once Gunsmoke found him, he finally had a role that fit like a worn leather glove. He died in 1980 at age 75 after suffering a heart attack. Doc Adams gave Dodge City more than medicine. Stone made him funny, impatient, loyal, and secretly tender, especially when he was scolding Matt or patching up another mess. His grumbling became part of the town's heartbeat, the familiar voice that made Gunsmoke feel like home. Ken Curtis was born in 1916 in Lamar, Colorado. He was 46 when he played Festus Haggen. Scruffy, stubborn, and full of backcountry humor, Curtis gave Dodge City a deputy who sounded like he had wandered in from some dusty trail and decided to stay. Festus was rough around the edges, but there was always loyalty under the beard, the squint, and that mountain man drawl. Before Festus became his signature, Curtis had been a singer with the Sons of the Pioneers and appeared in several John Ford westerns, including The Searchers and The Quiet Man. He brought music, comedy, and real western flavor into his acting. Curtis died in 1991 at age 74 after suffering a heart attack. Festus could make a scene funny just by opening his mouth, but Curtis never let him become only a joke. He gave him grit, heart, and a strange kind of wisdom that fit Dodge City perfectly. Next to Matt Dillon, Festus felt like the crooked fence post that somehow held strong when trouble came riding in. Dennis Weaver was born in 1924 in Joplin, Missouri. He was 31 when he played Chester Goode. Lanky, limping, and full of nervous charm, Weaver gave Matt Dillon a deputy who felt less like a polished sidekick and more like a real man trying to keep up with danger. His Mr. Dillon became one of the sounds fans remembered most. Away from Dodge City, Weaver built a strong career of his own with McCloud, Duel, and many television roles that let him step beyond Chester's shadow. He also became known for environmental work later in life, showing a thoughtful side far from the saloon doors. Weaver died in 2006 at age 81 from complications of cancer. Chester brought a softer kind of bravery to Gunsmoke. He was not the fastest gun, and he was not trying to be. Weaver made him loyal, funny, anxious, and deeply human, the kind of deputy who made Matt Dillon's world feel warmer, messier, and more believable. Glenn Strange was born in 1899 in Weed, New Mexico. He was 62 when he played Sam, the bartender. Big, quiet, and naturally at home behind the Long Branch bar, Strange gave Dodge City a familiar face where cowboys could drink, argue, and sometimes start trouble. He did not need many lines. His size and calm presence did plenty. Long before serving drinks on Gunsmoke, Strange had lived a real Western life and built a career in both Westerns and horror, most famously playing Frankenstein's monster in several Universal films. That mix of cowboy grit and monster movie history made him a classic character face. He died in 1973 at age 74, after a battle with lung cancer. Sam was not the center of the story, but he helped make the Long Branch feel like a real place. Strange stood there like part of the furniture, part of the town, and part of the show's soul. Every time Dodge City gathered at the bar, Sam made the room feel lived in. Buck Taylor was born in 1938 in Hollywood, California. He was 29 when he played Newly O'Brien. Young, handy, and easy to like, Taylor gave Dodge City a fresh face who felt comfortable around horses, Gunsmoke, and the slower rhythm of a Western town. Newly was not trying to be the toughest man in the room. He had a quieter kind of confidence. Away from Gunsmoke, Taylor kept that Western spirit alive through roles in films like Tombstone and later appearances in Yellowstone. He also became known as a Western artist, painting the world he once helped bring to television. As of 2026, he is 88 years old and remains one of the last major living links to the classic Gunsmoke cast. Newly worked because Taylor brought warmth instead of ego. Whether he was handling a gun, helping Doc, or standing beside Matt, he felt like a man still learning, but already worthy of trust. In a show full of legends, Newly gave the later years of Dodge City a younger heartbeat. Ted Jordan was born in 1924 in Ohio. He was 42 when he played Burke. Steady, familiar, and built for the everyday life of Dodge City, Jordan gave the town another face that felt like it belonged near the freight office, the street, and the quiet spaces between bigger trouble. Jordan appeared in many episodes of Gunsmoke, becoming part of the show's background rhythm rather than a one-time guest face. He also worked in other westerns and television roles, bringing a plain-spoken presence that never felt forced. He died in 2005 at age 80, with the cause not widely reported. Burke was not the kind of character who needed a dramatic entrance. Jordan made him useful, grounded, and believable. The sort of man who helped Dodge City feel like an actual town instead of just a set. That kind of supporting work is easy to miss, but it helped hold the whole Western world together. Rudy Suter was born in 1905 in Joplin, Missouri. He was 55 when he appeared as a townsman. Weathered, musical, and naturally Western, Suter had the kind of face that looked right at home in Dodge City before he even said a word. Suter was not only an actor, he was also a musician and songwriter, part of the Western entertainment world long before television made shows like Gunsmoke a weekly habit. He appeared in many films and TV westerns, often adding background life to saloons, streets, and trail towns. He died in 1991 at age 85, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, Suter represented the faces that made Dodge City feel crowded, dusty, and real. Not every actor had to carry the story. Some simply had to stand in the right place with the right look and make the town feel like it had been there for years. James Nusser was born in 1905 in Cleveland, Ohio. He was 56 when he played Louis Feeders. Sad-eyed, scruffy, and carrying the look of a man who had spent too many nights at the bottom of a bottle, Nusser gave Dodge City one of its most quietly memorable side characters. Louis was not polished, brave, or clean-cut, but he felt painfully real. Before Louis became his best-known role, Nusser had worked through years of small parts in film and television, showing up in westerns, dramas, and courtroom shows like Perry Mason. On Gunsmoke, he turned a town drunk into someone the audience could recognize, pity, and sometimes even root for. He died in 1979 at age 74, with the cause not widely reported. Louis Feeders brought a rough sadness into Dodge City. Nusser made him more than background color. He gave him loneliness, humor, and a broken kind of dignity. In a town full of gunmen and lawmen, Louis reminded viewers that Western life also left people bruised in quieter ways. Burt Reynolds was born in 1892 in Butte, Montana. He was 62 when he played the bartender. Quiet, steady, and perfectly placed behind the bar, Rumsey gave the early Long Branch scenes the feel of a real frontier saloon, where every drink, argument, and sideways glance could lead to trouble. Rumsey had been acting long before Gunsmoke, with credits reaching back into older Hollywood westerns and bit parts that helped build busy screen worlds. On this show, he became one of those familiar early faces viewers may not always name, but still remember as part of Dodge City's original texture. He died in 1968 at age 75, with the cause not widely reported. The bartender role did not need big speeches. Rumsey's job was to make the Long Branch feel alive, and he did exactly that. Standing behind the counter, watching cowboys come and go, he helped turn the saloon into one of the show's most familiar gathering places. Matthew McHugh was born in 1895 in Chicago, Illinois. He was 62 when he appeared as a townsman. Weathered, quiet, and easy to believe in a crowded Dodge City street, McHugh had the kind of old Western face that made the background feel like part of the story. McHugh spent much of his career in small film and television roles, often uncredited, the kind of work that rarely gets applause but quietly helps a show feel real. He appeared in Gunsmoke, The Fugitive, and other productions where a believable face in the right place mattered. He died in 1966, at age 70, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, McHugh represented the everyday life around Matt Dillon's bigger battles. He was not there to steal the scene, he was there to make Dodge City feel full of people, history, and dust. That kind of presence helped Gunsmoke feel less like a set and more like a living town. Clem Fuller was born in 1908 in Los Angeles County, California. He was 51 when he appeared as Clem. Lean, weathered, and naturally suited for frontier background work, Fuller had the kind of quiet Western face that could blend into Dodge City without feeling staged or polished. Fuller spent much of his career in westerns, crime shows, and small character parts, often appearing as cowboys, townsmen, guards, or rough men passing through the story. He was never the biggest name on the poster, but he helped fill the screen with the kind of faces classic television needed. He died in 1961 at age 52, with the cause not widely reported. Clem was a small part, but roles like this helped make Gunsmoke feel wide and lived in. Fuller's presence gave the town another layer of dust, age, and hard-earned realism. In Dodge City, even a brief face on the street could make the whole world feel more believable. Pete Kellett was born in 1922 in West Plains, Missouri. He was 37 when he appeared as a townsman. Rugged, physical, and made for Western movement, Kellett brought the kind of background energy that made Dodge City feel busy, rough, and always just a little unpredictable. Kellett worked as both an actor and stunt performer, showing up in westerns, adventure shows, and television productions where a believable cowboy body mattered as much as a line of dialogue. He also appeared in shows like Star Trek, adding stunt grit to very different screen worlds. He died in 1982 at age 59, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, Kellett was part of the human traffic that kept Gunsmoke alive. He did not need a dramatic speech to do his job. A walk through the street, a reaction near the saloon, or a face in the crowd helped Dodge City feel like a place where real people lived. Cactus Mac was born in 1899 in Weed, New Mexico. He was 58 when he appeared as a townsman. With a name like Cactus Mac and a face made for the old trail, he looked less like an actor visiting a western set and more like someone who had ridden out of the desert for real. Mac had deep roots in Western entertainment, working as an actor, stuntman, and music performer across years of cowboy films and television. He was also connected to a family of Western performers, which only added to that authentic old frontier feeling. He died in 1962 at age 62 after suffering a heart attack. As a townsman, Cactus Mac gave Gunsmoke something you cannot fake easily: genuine Western texture. He was not there to steal the scene. He was there to make the street, the saloon, and the dust around Matt Dillon feel like they had history behind them. Michael Jeffers was born in 1898 in Lancashire, England. He was 57 when he appeared as a townsman. Quiet, weathered, and easy to miss at first glance, Jeffers had the kind of background presence that helped Dodge City feel crowded, dusty, and alive. He looked like one of those men who had been sitting near the saloon window long before Matt Dillon walked into the street. Jeffers spent years in small film and television roles, often uncredited, doing the kind of steady background work that classic Hollywood depended on. He appeared in westerns, comedies, and crowd scenes, where a believable face mattered more than a big line. He died in 1990 at age 92, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, Jeffers was part of the hidden machinery of Gunsmoke. He was not there to steal a scene or pull a gun. He was there to make Dodge City feel full of people, habits, and history. The kind of detail viewers may not notice, but would miss if it disappeared. Roger Ewing was born in 1942 in Los Angeles, California. He was 23 when he played Thad Greenwood. Young, tall, and clean-cut, Ewing brought Dodge City a fresh deputy presence during the mid-60s years. Thad had a lighter, more youthful feel than the older men around Matt Dillon, but he still looked ready to ride into trouble when the badge called. Ewing appeared in shows and films like Rawhide, The Mothers-in-Law, Death Valley Days, Smith, and Play It As It Lays, before later leaving acting behind and living more privately. He died in 2025 at age 83, with the cause not publicly released. Thad helped bridge one era of Gunsmoke into another. Ewing gave him a quiet, likable confidence. Not as seasoned as Matt, not as grizzled as Festus, but honest enough to belong in Dodge City. His time on the show was shorter, but fans still remember that young deputy energy. Howard Culver was born in 1918 in Larimer County, Colorado. He was 37 when he first appeared as Howie. Polite, neat, and perfectly suited to the Dodge House, Culver gave the hotel side of Dodge City a familiar, everyday rhythm. He felt like the kind of man who always knew who had checked in, who was causing trouble, and when to stay quiet. Culver had a long career in radio and television, including work on Straight Arrow, Dragnet, Adam 12, Perry Mason, and many other classic shows. He was one of those reliable actors who could step into a scene and make it feel instantly organized. He died in 1984 at age 66, after contracting meningitis. Howie was not a gunfighter, but he helped build the town around the gunfighters. Culver made the hotel desk feel like part of Dodge City's daily life, a place for travelers, gossip, tension, and small moments between the bigger storms. That kind of steady presence helped Gunsmoke breathe. Burt Reynolds was born in 1936 in Lansing, Michigan. He was 26 when he played Quint Asper. Young, dark-haired, and already carrying that restless movie star spark, Reynolds gave Dodge City a half-Comanche blacksmith who felt different from the usual men riding through town. Quint had strength, pride, and a quiet edge that made him stand out beside Matt Dillon. Long before the mustache, the fast cars, and the wild charm of Smokey and the Bandit, Reynolds was cutting his teeth on Western television. He later hit big with Deliverance, The Longest Yard, and Boogie Nights, showing he could be funny, physical, and surprisingly vulnerable. He died in 2018, at age 82, after suffering a heart attack. Quint gave fans an early look at the Burt Reynolds energy before it exploded into full Hollywood fame. He was not just another young cowboy on the street. He brought heat, tension, and a modern coolness into Dodge City. Even in a legendary cast, you can feel that bigger career waiting just around the corner. George Selk was born in 1893 in Lincoln, Nebraska. He was 62 when he played Moss Grimmick. Weathered, slow-moving, and perfect for the livery stable, Selk gave Dodge City the kind of old-town presence that made horses, wagons, and dusty streets feel like everyday life instead of scenery. Selk spent years playing small Western and television roles, often showing up as stablemen, townsmen, or older frontier faces who helped fill out the world around the stars. On Gunsmoke, Moss became one of those familiar background figures fans may not always name, but still recognize instantly. He died in 1967, at age 73, with the cause not widely reported. Moss Grimmick was not there to win gunfights or make speeches, but Selk made him part of Dodge City's rhythm. Every real Western town needed a man around the horses, the stalls, and the quiet corners. Moss gave the show that little touch of daily life that made the whole place feel more real. Michelle Breeze was born in 1942 in Pontiac, Michigan. She was 21 when she started appearing as a saloon girl on Gunsmoke. Young, poised, and easy to place inside the Long Branch, Breeze became part of the saloon atmosphere that helped Dodge City feel busy, social, and alive. Breeze appeared in many uncredited or smaller television roles, including Burke's Law, The Wild Wild West, Batman, and later even work connected to the Flintstones. She was one of those performers whose face helped build the background of classic TV, even when the spotlight went somewhere else. She died in 2016 at age 73, with the cause kept private. As a saloon girl, Breeze helped give the Long Branch its movement and texture. She was not written as a major character, but her repeated presence made the room feel familiar. In a show like Gunsmoke, those background faces mattered more than people realize. They made Dodge City feel lived in, week after week. Dabbs Greer was born in 1917 in Fairview, Missouri. He was 39 when he played Mr. Jonas. Gentle-faced, plain-spoken, and easy to trust, Greer gave Dodge City's storekeeper the kind of warmth every frontier town needed. He was not there to draw a gun or start a fight. He was there to make the town feel like people actually lived there. Greer had one of those careers that quietly stretched across half of classic television. Beyond Gunsmoke, many viewers remember him as Reverend Alden on Little House on the Prairie, and later from Picket Fences. He died in 2007 at age 90 after a battle with kidney disease. Mr. Jonas gave Dodge City a softer corner. Greer made him kind, steady, and familiar, the kind of man you would expect to see behind a counter, listening to town gossip, and watching trouble pass by the window. His presence helped balance the Gunsmoke with everyday life. Rod McGaughy was born in 1923 in Pennsylvania. He was 35 when he appeared as a townsman. Quiet, rugged, and built for background Western life, McGaughy had the kind of screen presence that blended naturally into Dodge City's streets, saloons, and courtroom corners without feeling out of place. McGaughy worked across many classic television westerns, including Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Death Valley Days, Have Gun, Will Travel, and The Virginian. He was one of those steady working actors who helped fill out the worlds around bigger stars. He died in 2011 at age 87, with the cause not widely reported. As a townsman, McGaughy was part of the crowd that made Dodge City breathe. Not every face needed a storyline, but every believable face mattered. His work helped give the town its size, its dust, and that feeling that life kept moving, even after Matt Dillon walked away. Woodrow Chambliss was born in 1914 in Texas. He was 42 when he played Lathrop. Dry, weathered, and full of quiet frontier character, Chambliss gave Dodge City another storekeeper presence that felt older than the episode itself, like he had been watching the town change for years. Chambliss appeared in both films and television, but Gunsmoke became the place where many Western fans remember him best. He played several parts on the series before settling into the recurring role of Mr. Lathrop. He died in 1981 at age 66, with the cause not widely reported. Lathrop was not a loud character, and that suited Chambliss perfectly. He made the role feel worn in, practical, and real, the kind of man who could stand behind a counter and still add history to the room. In a long-running Western, that kind of quiet texture mattered. Hank Patterson was born in 1888 in Springville, Alabama. He was 73 when he played Hank. Old, wiry, and full of dusty comic charm, Patterson looked like he had been part of Dodge City since before the first board was nailed into the livery stable. His face alone carried years of frontier weather. Patterson had a long road through Hollywood westerns before Gunsmoke, showing up in shows like Have Gun, Will Travel, Death Valley Days, and later winning more TV fans as Fred Ziffel on Green Acres. He died in 1975 at age 86, after suffering from bronchial pneumonia. Hank was never meant to be the loudest man in town, but Patterson made him feel like part of the place. Around the horses, the street, and the quiet corners of Dodge City, he added that old-timer flavor you cannot fake. His presence made Gunsmoke feel older, dustier, and more real. Amanda Blake was born in 1929 in Buffalo, New York. She was 26 when she played Miss Kitty Russell. Red-haired, confident, and sharper than most men in the room, Blake gave the Long Branch Saloon its fire. Kitty was glamorous, but she was never fragile. She knew Dodge City's danger better than almost anyone. Blake had film roles before Gunsmoke, but Kitty gave her the part that followed her for life. Away from acting, she also became deeply involved in animal welfare, especially with big cats and wildlife protection. She died in 1989 at age 60 from AIDS-related complications. Miss Kitty was the soul of the Long Branch. Blake played her with warmth, pride, and a little sadness under the smile, like a woman who had seen every kind of cowboy walk through those doors. Her chemistry with Matt Dillon gave Gunsmoke one of its most quietly powerful emotional threads. Thanks for watching until the end. The legends of Dodge City will never truly fade. Subscribe to the channel for more classic then and now stories.